is Sister Mary. We are beginning in the book of Joshua. I'll be reading chapters 1 through chapter 5. And also, this is reading out of the Interlinear Bible. It is the Hebrew and the Aramaic translation of the Old Testament. God bless you and thank you for joining in today's reading. Joshua chapter 1. And after the death of Moses, the servant of Jehovah, Jehovah spoke to Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, My servant Moses is dead. And now rise up, cross over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am given to them, to the sons of Israel. Every place on which your foot shall tread, I have given it to you, as I spoke to Moses. From the wilderness and Lebanon, even to the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites and the great sea, toward the setting of the sun, shall be your border. There shall not be any man able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you, nor will I forsake you. Be strong and brave, for you shall cause the people to inherit the land, which I swore to their fathers to give to them. Only be strong and very brave, so that you may take heed to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may act wisely wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, and you shall meditate on it by day and by night, so that you shall be on guard to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall prosper your way, and then you shall act wisely. Have I not commanded you, be strong and brave? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for Jehovah your God is with you in all places where you go. Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the camp and tell the people, saying, Prepare food for you. For within 3 days you are crossing over this Jordan to go in to possess it, the land which Jehovah your God is giving to you, to possess it. And Joshua spoke to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, saying, Remember the word which Moses the servant of Jehovah commanded you, saying, Jehovah your God has given you rest, and he has given to you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your livestock shall remain in the land which Moses has given to you beyond the Jordan. But you shall cross over, armed before your brothers, all the mighty warriors, and you shall help them, until Jehovah has given rest to your brothers as well as to you, and they, even they, have possessed the land which Jehovah your God is giving to them. Then you may return to the land of your possession, and may possess it, which Moses the servant of Jehovah has given to you beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun. And they answered Joshua, saying, We will do all that you commanded us, and we will go everywhere you shall send us, according to all we heard from Moses, so we will listen to you. Surely Jehovah your God is with you, as he has been with Moses. Whoever rebels against your mouth and will not listen to your commandments in all that you say to him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and brave. Chapter 2 of Joshua. And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men out of Shittim to spy secretly, saying, Go look over the land and Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a woman, a harlot, and her name was Rahab. And they lay down there. And it was reported to the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, men have come here tonight from the sons of Israel to search the land. And the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come into you, who have come into your house. They have come in to search out all the land. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them. And this way the man came in to me, but I did not know from where they were. And it happened, as the gate was to be shut at dark, even the men went out. I do not know where they have gone. You go after them, and hurry, for you may overtake them. But she made them go up on the roof and hid them with stalks of flax, which she arranged on the roof. And the men went after them the way of Jordan, by, it looks like it says forwards. And they shut the gate afterwards when the pursuers had gone after them. And before they had laid down, she came up to them on the roof. And she said to the men, I know that Jehovah has given the land to you, and that your terror has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land have melted before you. For we have heard how Jehovah dried up the water of the Red Sea before you as you were going out of Egypt. Also that which you have done to 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and to Og, whom you destroyed. And we have heard, and our heart has melted, and there not still rises spirit in any man because of you. For Jehovah your God, he is God in the heavens above and in the earth below. And now, you would just have to know the enemy is at work, isn't he? And now please swear by me. Sorry, guys. I did not realize my husband's phone was in here. And now please swear by me, by Jehovah, since I have dealt with you in kindness, that you will also deal with my father's house in kindness, and shall give to me a true token, and shall keep alive my father and my mother, and my brothers and my sisters, and all they own, and shall deliver our souls from death. And the men said to her, Our life is yours. If you do not tell the business of ours, then it shall be, when Jehovah gives this land to us, that we shall deal with you in kindness and truth. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was in the side of the wall, and she lived in the wall. And she said to them, Go to the mountain, lest the pursuers come up upon you, and you shall hide there 3 days until the pursuers return, and afterward you shall go on your way. And the men said to her, We will be guiltless from this oath of yours which you made us swear. Behold, we are coming into the land. You shall bind this scarlet thread of line in the window by which you have let us down. And you shall gather your father and your mother and your brothers, and all your father's house to you, to the houses. And it shall be, any one who goes outside from the doors of your house, his blood shall be on his head, and we shall be innocent. And any one who is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand is on him. But if you reveal this business of ours, then we shall be guiltless from your oath which you made us swear. And she said, Let it be according to your words. And she sent them away, and they went. And she bound the line of scarlet thread in the window. And they departed and came to the mountain, and stayed there 3 days, until the pursuers had returned. And the pursuers searched in all the way, but did not find them. And the 2 men returned and came down from the mountain and crossed over, and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and reported to him all that had happened to them. And they said to Joshua, Surely Jehovah has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land have melted before us. Chapter 3 of Joshua. And Joshua rose up early in the morning, and they moved from Shittim and came to the Jordan, he and all the sons of Israel. And they stayed there before they crossed over. And it happened, at the end of 3 days, the officers passed into the midst of the camp. And they commanded the people, saying, When you see the ark of the covenant of Jehovah your God, and the priest and the Levites bearing it, then you shall move from your place and shall go after it. Only keep a distance between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. You shall not come near it, so that you may know the way in which you are to go. For you have not crossed over this way yesterday and the day before. And Joshua said to the people, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Jehovah will do wonders among you. And Joshua spoke to the priest, saying, Take up the ark of the covenant and go before the people. And they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. And Jehovah said to Joshua, This day I will begin to make you great in the eyes of all Israel, so that they shall know that as I was with Moses, I am with you. And you shall command the priest bearing the ark of the covenant, saying, When you come to the edge of the waters of the Jordan, you shall stand still in the Jordan. And Joshua said to the sons of Israel, Come near here and hear the words of Jehovah your God. And Joshua said, By this you shall know that the living God is among you, and he shall certainly expel from before you the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant of Jehovah of all the earth shall pass over before you into the Jordan. And now take for yourselves 12 men out of the tribe of Israel, 1 man for each tribe. And it shall be, when the soles of the feet of the priest bearing the ark of Jehovah, Lord of all the earth, come to rest, the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off, and the waters which came down or come down from above, and they shall stand in one heap. And it happened, as the people moved from their tents to cross over the Jordan, and as the priest bore the ark of the covenant before the people, as those bearing the ark came into the Jordan, and the feet of the priest bearing the ark were dipped in the edge of the waters, and the Jordan was full over all its banks all the days of the harvest, that the water stood still. Those coming down from above rose up into a heap, very far above the city Adam, which is beside Zartan, and those going down by the sea of Arabah, the salt sea, were completely cut off. And the people passed over opposite to Jericho. And the priest bearing the ark of the covenant of Jehovah stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan. And all Israel crossed over on dry ground until all the nation had completely passed over the Jordan. Chapter 4 of Joshua. And it happened, when all the nation had completely crossed over the Jordan, Jehovah spoke to Joshua, saying, Take 12 men for you out of the people, 1 man of each tribe, and charge them, saying, Take 12 stones from this place, from the middle of the Jordan, from the place where the feet of the priest were fixed. And you shall carry them over with you, and lay them down in the lodging place which you stay the night. And Joshua called the 12 men whom he had made ready out of the sons of Israel, 1 man out of each tribe. And Joshua said to them, Cross over before the ark of Jehovah your God to the middle of the Jordan, and each man of you lift up 1 stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Israel, so that this shall be a sign among you, when your children ask hereafter, saying, What are these stones to you? You shall say to them, Because the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of Jehovah. As it crossed over into the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off, and these stones are for a memorial to the sons of Israel all the days. And the sons of Israel did as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the middle of the Jordan, as Jehovah had spoken to Joshua, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Israel, and crossed over with them to the lodging place, and laid them down there, even the 12 stones that Joshua lifted up in the middle of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priest bearing the ark of the covenant stood firm. And they are there until this day. And the priest bearing the ark were standing in the middle of the Jordan, until everything was finished that Jehovah had commanded Joshua to speak to the people according to all that Moses commanded Joshua. And the people hastened and crossed over. And it happened, when the people had finished crossing over the ark of Jehovah, and the priest crossed over before the people, and the sons of Reuben, and the sons of Gad, And the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over armed before the sons of Israel, as Moses had spoken to them. About 40,000 armed men of the army crossed over before Jehovah for battle, to the plains of Jericho. On that day Jehovah made Joshua great in the sight of all Israel, and they heard him all the days of his life, even as they feared Moses. And Jehovah spoke to Joshua, saying, Command the priests to carry the ark of the testimony, and they shall come up out of the Jordan. And Joshua commanded the priest, saying, Come up out of the Jordan. And when the priest who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah had come up out of the midst of the Jordan, and the soles of the feet of the priest had been lifted to the dry land, the waters of the Jordan returned to their place, and flowed over all its banks as before. And the people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th of the first month, and camped in Gilgal, in the east border of Jericho. And the 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan were raised up in Gilgal by Joshua. And he spoke to the sons of Israel, saying, When your sons ask their fathers hereafter, saying, What do these stones mean? Then you shall make your sons know, saying, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land, because Jehovah your God dried up the waters of the Jordan before you until you crossed over, as Jehovah your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up before you until we crossed over, so that all the people of the land shall know that the hand of Jehovah is strong, so that you may fear Jehovah your God all the days. Chapter 5 of Joshua. And it happened when all the kings of the Amorites which were beyond the Jordan toward the sea, and all the kings of the Canaanite which were by the sea, heard how Jehovah dried up the waters of the Jordan before the sons of Israel, until they crossed over, their heart was melted. And there was not any more spirit in them before the sons of Israel. And at that time, Jehovah said to Joshua, Make for yourself flint knives. And again circumcise the sons of Israel the second time. And Joshua made flint knives for himself, and circumcised the sons of Israel at the heel of the foreskins. And this is the reason Joshua circumcised all the people who had come out of Egypt, who were males. All the men of war had died in the wilderness, in the way, as they came out of Egypt. For all the people who had come out were circumcised, and all the people who were born in the wilderness in the way, as they came out from Egypt, had not been circumcised. For the sons of Israel had walked 40 years in the wilderness, until all the nation, the men of war who had come out of Egypt, who did not listen to the voice of Jehovah, to whom Jehovah had sworn to them not to show them the land which Jehovah swore to their fathers to give to us, a land flowing with milk and honey. These were consumed, and he raised their sons up in their place. Joshua circumcised them, for they had been uncircumcised, for they had not been circumcised in the way. And it happened, when all the nation had finished being circumcised, they remained in their places in the camp until they revived. And Jehovah said to Joshua, Today I have rolled the reproach of Egypt off of you. And he called the name of that place Gilgal to this day. And the sons of Israel camped in Gilgal, and prepared the Passover on the 14th day of the month, at evening, in the plains of Jericho. And they ate the old grain of the land on the morrow of the Passover, unleavened bread and roasted grain in the same day. And the manna ceased on the next day after they ate of the old grain of the land. And there was no more manna to the sons of Israel, but they ate the produce of the land of Canaan in that year. And it happened, when Joshua was beside Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man stood opposite him, and his drawn sword was in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our foes? And he said, No, for I now come as the commander of the army of Jehovah. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped. And he said to him, What does my Lord say to his bondslave? And the commander of the army of Jehovah said to Joshua, Take your shoe off your foot, for the place on which you are standing is holy. And Joshua did so. Amen. Thank you for joining in today's reading. We will be reading the next time in Joshua chapter 6. God bless each and every one of you, and I pray that the Lord always send ministering angels before and after all who believe, and I pray that the Lord would guide and lead, direct our path. I pray that He would continually increase and we decrease. I pray that you remember, no weapon formed against you prospers in the mighty name of Jesus, and greater is He, Jesus, that is in you than he, Satan, that is in the world.